Well, I mean, let's face it, Edinburgh National Festival is the biggest arts festival in the world, and it's right on our doorstep. And traditional music has become part of our cultural landscape in a bigger way than anyone ever expected 30 or 40 years ago. And so I think to be taken seriously and put on the platform at Edinburgh Festival is a major milestone. And I think we're also at a point where musically, traditional music is talking to other styles. So the idea of orchestral musicians with traditional musicians, for example, is actually quite commonplace now. But also across all styles, whether it be electronica or jazz, or there's a real meeting of minds now that didn't used to be there, I think. So I think it's the right time for traditional music to make its stamp. Yeah, a lot of the artists that will be playing are at the cutting edge of the traditional folk scene. Artists like Brepach and Rura, Canaris Quintet, bands like that who have explored the idea of new music within traditional music in terms of writing, composing tunes that suit the ensembles that they're playing in, and a pretty exciting lineup and eclectic. Yeah, I think one of the biggest elements of Celtic Connections as a festival is that we've tried to reach out to the rest of the world in terms of both artists and audiences. And we've tried to almost consider traditional music as a form of world music. And I think that Edinburgh obviously is a truly international festival in its outlook and has been for the last 70 years. So it's an exciting kind of new strength to a festival like ours, like Celtic Connections, where we can have some kind of shop window, if you like, to present the kind of artists that we've been championing for the last 20, 25 years here, and a chance for us to potentially show how far the music scene has changed in that time.
Yeah, I mean, really excited. I think we've been lucky enough to work with Celtic Connections on a lot of different projects, and I think just being put forward and to be around such other great acts is quite an exciting opportunity just to hopefully interact with quite a broad audience and play in a different setting, and kind of, we've just off the back of doing a new album, so we're trying to be as generous as we can with that in terms of live shows. So yeah, in general, it takes a long time nowadays to put these albums and tracks together, and it's kind of something you go away and put together, and then you're not sure how it's going to be received. But the exciting thing about doing live gigs is that you're kind of sharing that with those people on that night, and it's usually they kind of put their own energy into the night, so you end up with every gig's quite a unique experience, even though you're playing the same stuff. So that's the most interesting part of touring, I think, is kind of what each audience gives you back for the same music. There's 4 of us in the band, and we've been together for 10 years, and we're kind of from all over geographically and stylistically. So I'm from the Central Belt, grew up doing the solo piping thing and some classical music as well, and that's definitely informed where I kind of started out at. And then our fiddle player is very much steeped in the Northeast tradition and way of doing things. Our flute and drum players very much the kind of Glasgow Irish scene and came up through that. And similarly, our guitarist is also a great baran player and is totally steeped in Irish traditional music. So I think our kind of journey as a band through the last 10 years has been bringing all those influences together, and playing at things like Celtic Connections and being supported right from the Danny Kyle all the way through to doing an anniversary gig here. That kind of thing's really helped us along our way and find our feet. And I think nowadays as well, you have the space in our scene to make music that's really your own. It's not so much just recreating something that was very old. It's taking that and kind of putting it into the context of what matters to you now. So I hope that answers that. Yeah. I guess usually quite calm, or maybe at least quite present, because usually you've been in a van or a flight or something's happened and the whole day's been leading up to that one moment, and then as soon as you're about to go on stage, there's no more questions or problems. It's just, well, now it happens. So it's usually one of the best parts of the day, actually, is everything else has kind of led up to that point. So it's like a kind of a relief every time you go on, really. I don't know. I mean, I think our agent would like me to say, like Highland, fast paced. But I guess I hope a Rura gig is accessible, interesting, energetic, and kind of communicative of what our music's about.